Hi everyone, my name is Dana. Welcome back to my plant channel. Today I'm going to be talking about all of the philodendron in my collection, which I also have this for me purposes so I can see how my collection grows in the future. But yeah, so with that being said, I'll show you the plants and then I'll talk a little bit about them. Starting off, I have a silver sword philodendron, which it's pretty new to my collection, so I can't offer a lot of care tips off the bat. What I do know is it seems like they're kind of hard to water propagate from seeing other people's videos on them, but I want to have this grow up a pole of some sort eventually. And also the top growth point broke off, so it has to push out a node somewhere else, well, a growth point somewhere else. So that's kind of a bummer, but it's also okay because this plant is kind of large, so if it takes its time, I'm kind of okay with that because I don't have a lot of space on my plant shelf and this can get very big. But it's very pretty. I have it quite close to a grow light, so it really has a silvery sheen. You can't really tell in this lighting. This lighting's kind of ugly, but yeah. Next up, I have this lemon lime upright, or also known as golden goddess philodendron, and we have been through the ringer, me and her. I got this plant. It was basically dead, so I got it for basically free. And it repaired itself. It put out this whole plant, and it actually is pushing out another shoot, so it's gonna be 2 plants now. I have it staked up with just like a little thing to help it stay standing up. But then right before I moved from my first home before we started renting, I had a mealybug and pest outbreak, so I had to ditch a lot of my plants, and I thought I caught all the plants that didn't have pests, but apparently I didn't, and I think I had thrips and a bunch of my plants got it, and this one got the brunt of it. I was like, shoot, but its newer leaves are looking very nice and not damaged, so I think it is on the road to recovery. I did a lot of pest treatments. But yes, so this plant, I haven't taken it out of its nursery pot, I haven't changed anything. Basically, you can see how it's kind of drooping. That's when I water it. It's super easy to care for, just don't overwater it. The reason why it was dying was because it was overwatered. And it's kind of in a cocoa coir soil, so the soil does hold more water, so I am mindful of that when I water it. Next, I have this Harlequin Philodendron, and I used to have a little bit of a bigger plant, but this plant has grown a ton, so I'd say they're actually about the same size. And it had mealybugs right before I moved, but I really liked this plant, and I was like, oh, I don't want to buy a new one, so I took cuttings and washed them off, cleaned them, and I have since potted them up and it's doing really well. It's looking a little wonky. It used to be so pretty and shingle upwards, and then I was like, oh, it could use a little bit more soil, so I filled it up with a little bit more soil, and now it looks ugly, so I'm waiting until it starts vining, and then I'll take more cuttings and fill up the back because it's looking a little naked in the back. But another super easy to care for plant. It doesn't really need anything from me except water occasionally, and yeah, it's growing well. This one, I just watered it yesterday, so some of this leaf is still recovering. Also, that white powder on it is from when I did diatomaceous earth last summer, and then we moved in fall, and by that time the diatomaceous earth had kind of worn off, and mealybugs, thrips, it was great. So I do want to treat them with all of my plants with diatomaceous earth, hopefully soon. I just need to get the bag, but yes. Next is my gorgeous, beautiful, amazing, lovely Philodendron Micans. It may look different from the last video you saw it in when I did the care video because I added more of the propagations that I took from it into the pot. So now it's much more full. And I'm going to be propagating this vine once the other propagations establish themselves, and I think I could maybe pop one more right here and one in the middle, and then that'll be about it for this pot, and then I'll just watch it grow. But yes, so it's very, very big. I got this plant less than a year ago, and it had 2 like 2 different cuttings with 2 leaves each, and this is how much it's grown through me, like through the winter. So that's pretty wild. I used to have it by a grow light, but now I have it on a west-facing window, and it's still doing well. It is a little cold, so its new leaf kind of got a little bit of damage because I think at nighttime the window gets a little bit cold. But I'm taking a cutting like at the end of this anyway, so the leaves will fall off probably when I do cuttings. So I don't really care that much. It'll be fine. Next up is my Philodendron Birkin, and I remember when this plant was popular, everyone wanted it. I got it because I actually like the way the variegation disappears after a while. It really shows how much it's grown. Like, I remember when this was the newest leaf it put out, and I was like, oh, it's so big, and now look at these new leaves. Gorgeous. This is the easiest plant I ever had. So many people complain about it reverting. Maybe they just had a bad specimen, because, I mean, I can't remember the last time I really watered this plant. I just gave it fertilizer, but I never fertilized it. It was maybe this tall when I first got it, and look at it now. It's so full and so beautiful, and honestly I feel bad because it's really neglected because it just doesn't need anything from me. So I just kind of put it in the back. It's not even that close to a grow light. It's like lower down on the shelf, and it just grows. It's just doing its own thing, so that's really cool. And like when the leaves come out, it's so striking, and then it's so pretty to see as they slowly fade. Look at how pretty that one is. I don't know. People have a lot of opinions on this one, but for me, it's just ignore it. I think people get these like plants that are like at the time rare or like super sought after, and then they like coddle it because they're like, oh, this is a popular plant, everyone loves this plant, I want mine to be amazing and cool and stuff. But it's a philodendron, they don't need anything. Like, you know, some philodendron need, like, if you have a, I shouldn't say that, but this is more of like a, treat it like a pothos sort of thing. Like, yeah, it grows up right, but its care level is about pothos level, so it's grown well, and I might do a care video on this one, even though it fell off, so to speak. Then, the last philodendron in my collection is this Philodendron Brazil. The only place I could really keep it where it would get light is really close to my grow light, so some of the leaves are looking a little burnt, but that's okay. I have a bunch of cuttings to pot in the back, and it's grown really well. Oops. I think that was me who did that. But yeah, it's very pretty. It doesn't really need anything. It's pothos level of care, but I mean, I really like the pot it's in. I really like the way it shingles down. I don't know. It's a cool plant, and it's probably my oldest philodendron I had in my collection. So yeah. Alright, so that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching and liking and subscribing. If you have any questions about any of the plants mentioned, I will try to help you out, but I do plan on making like care videos for every one of them just because I like talking about my plants. But yeah, so with that being said, I will see you in the next video. Bye!